I just watched your video and I liked everything that you had to say about it. I think we kind of have the same opinions on the approach that was used and things like that. So it was just really interesting to kind of see, what we both kind of said. So I'll just start with what you started with at the beginning and go through that. So I really liked how at the beginning you said, they were thinking about a thinking goal is what you called it. And I really liked that. So the counselor was talking to her about things that she wants to remember. So think about what you want to remember. And they called that a thinking goal, which I really like that a lot. Think about all the things that she wants to take away from the session and all the ways or all the things that she thinks she'll remember to help her. So that was the thinking goal. I really like that. Then you went on to talk about the ABCs, so like the activating event, the consequence, things like that. So the activating event for her to come to counseling in the first place was the breakup with her ex-husband or ex-boyfriend, whoever it was. So with that breakup, she is thinking that something must be wrong with her. She's not good enough. And so that's the reason they broke up. The consequence of the breakup and thinking that something is wrong with her, or must be wrong with her, is she isolates herself because she doesn't feel worthy. She thinks negatively of herself. And so she's really, struggling with relationships in general at this point of her life. And that's why she is in counseling. And that's why they kind of come up with the thinking goal. They think about, what things she can remember when she is out in life and not in counseling. What is she going to take away from the session? And then that also leads to one of the next points she made, which was the behavior goal. And so her behavior goal is seeking out relationships. So I think that with her seeking out relationships, it will build her confidence up, and she'll realize that she is, nothing's wrong with her, and it will also, seeking out relationships will also help her think more positively of herself, and just making her feel more confident in who she is. So you also said that you enjoyed this approach, and I really enjoy it too. I think it and I think you said this too, it provides support to people that we care about and that we love. And so when we're working with our students, we care about them, and we are going to support them in every way that we can. So in this approach, that's kind of what the counselor's doing, is trying to support her in every way that he can, and thinking about what she can take away from the session and how it will benefit her, tomorrow or whenever she needs it. So you used an example of grades in school, and I really like that because that really applies to us school counselors, especially in high school and probably upper middle school, or maybe even elementary school for some students, depending on what school you're at. But you talked about grades, and some students feel like they aren't good enough, or they're not ready for college and things like that. So, or they just don't feel smart enough to be in a certain class, or maybe they feel like they should be in a different class because they're so successful in one class, or they're struggling in one class. There's all these different ways it can be. So I think as a counselor, we need to help the students understand, where they're at and what they can do to feel better about themselves. What are some approaches that they can take when they're feeling bad about themselves or not feeling as confident. But as counselors, we want our students to feel confident in who they are and for them to be successful. So it's just important to remind them that they can do it, and that just talking about it really helps. And so I think it's just great that they're seeking out help in the first place, especially if they feel like they're struggling with their grades or things like that. But I just really like that example. And as counselors, you know, it's just important to help the students understand that it's okay to struggle, and you're probably going to struggle at some point in your life. You are. And but if you just, you know, think about what we talked about and what you can take away from our session and apply it to your life, then it should help you be successful and things like that. But anyway, that is all I have to say. But I really enjoyed your video, and yeah, I'm sure I'll hear from you soon.